My husband won't pay for our son's critical cancer treatment, valuing his business dreams more. As family fights erupt and bills soar, I'm forced to work extra shifts, battling alone to save my child while our marriage hangs by a thread. Hey everyone, my name's Zoe. I'm 28 years old, and I'm honestly losing my mind over here. I've been a lurker on Reddit for ages, scrolling through posts when I can't sleep, but this is my first time actually posting because I'm desperate for some outside opinions. My husband, Henry, who's 30, and I have been married for 4 years now. We've got a 3-year-old son who means everything to me. But right now, our whole world's crumbling, and I don't know how to fix it. The big issue? Henry's flat out refusing to pay for our son's medical treatment, and our kid's seriously sick, like life or death sick. I'll unpack it all for you. But fair warning, this is going to be long because there's so much baggage to this mess. Let me set the scene with some backstory. Henry and I met back in college through some mutual friends. He's always been this super chill, go-with-the-flow kind of guy. Never gets worked up about much, which I used to find charming because I'm the total opposite. I'm a worrier, always planning 3 steps ahead, stressing over details. We clicked because he'd calm me down when I'd spiral, and I'd keep us on track when he'd get too laid back. He's a mechanic, makes okay money fixing cars, and I work part-time as a receptionist while juggling mom duties. We're not rolling in cash, but we've always gotten by. Our son came along 3 years ago, and he was perfect, healthy, happy, the whole deal. But about 6 months ago, everything changed. He started getting these random fevers that wouldn't quit, and then he got so tired he'd just flop down mid-playtime. I took him to the pediatrician, thinking it was some bug, but after a million tests, blood work, scans, you name it, they hit us with the diagnosis: leukemia. I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. I can still picture the doctor sitting there, all calm and clinical, while I'm clutching my son's little hand, trying not to bawl. The treatment plan they laid out was overwhelming. Chemo, hospital stays, specialists, meds that cost more than our rent. We've got some insurance through my job, but it's bare bones. It covers the basics, but the copays, the uncovered stuff, the out-of-pocket costs, it's insane. We're talking thousands of dollars a month, and that's just to keep him stable. The first night after the diagnosis, I sat Henry down at our scratched-up kitchen table and said, "We've got to figure this out together. This is our son." He just nodded, all quiet, and said, "Yeah, we'll make it work." I took that as a promise, like we were a team. I was wrong. Here's where it gets ugly. A couple weeks into this nightmare, I realized Henry wasn't stepping up. I was the one calling insurance, haggling with the hospital billing people, setting up payment plans, Googling assistance programs till my eyes burned. He'd come home from the garage, pop open a beer, and just check out. He'd ask how our son was doing, sure, but then he'd flip on the TV and act like everything was fine. At first, I gave him a pass. Maybe he was in shock or something. But then the bills started rolling in, and I couldn't keep up alone. We've got a joint account for bills and groceries, but Henry's got his own separate savings account he's been building for years. He's always been cagey about it. Won't even tell me how much is in there. I finally said, "Henry, we need to dip into that savings. The hospital needs payment, and our son needs this treatment now." He looked at me like I'd lost my mind and said, "That's my money, Zoe. I'm not touching it." I couldn't process it. My jaw literally dropped. This is our kid we're talking about. Our little boy who's hooked up to IVs, who cries because he doesn't understand why he feels so bad. I pressed him, asking why he wouldn't use it, and after some back and forth, he admitted he's been saving it for something big. I was like, what could be bigger than this? And he mumbled about how he's always wanted to open his own auto shop. His dream. I saw red. I yelled, "Are you seriously picking some fantasy business over our son's life?" He got all defensive, saying I was blowing it out of proportion and that we'd figure it out without his savings. That's his go-to line now. We'll figure it out. But we're not figuring anything out. I'm sinking, and he's just standing there watching. That's the main mess, but there's more piling on top. Subconflict 1. My in-laws are making it so much worse. Henry's parents are a piece of work. His mom's this know-it-all who's always got an opinion, and his dad's this quiet, grumbly type who just nods along to whatever she says. I called them after the diagnosis, hoping they'd rally around us, maybe offer some cash or at least emotional support. Instead, His mom said, "Henry's always been independent, Zoe. You can't expect him to just give up his money." Then she launched into this lecture about how I should have gotten a better job with better insurance, like I planned for my kid to get cancer. His dad chimed in with, "Kids get sick. Life's tough." I was so pissed I hung up on them. Henry was right there when it happened, and he didn't say a word to defend me, just sipped his beer like it was no big deal. Subconflict 2. My own family's getting dragged into this, and it's turning into a war zone. My mom's been my lifeline. She's retired, lives nearby, and she's been watching our son when I'm at doctor's appointments or pulling extra hours at work. She's even dipped into her savings to help with some bills, which kills me because she's on a fixed income. But she's livid at Henry. Last week, she came over while he was home, and it got ugly. She called him out, saying he's a deadbeat dad for not stepping up, and he snapped back, telling her to butt out of our marriage. I had to physically get between them because she looked ready to throw something. Now she's on this campaign to get me to leave him. She keeps saying, "Zoe, you're too good for this. He's trash." I get where she's coming from, but it's not that easy. I'm stuck, torn between her and this life I've built with Henry. Then there's the emotional toll, which is its own beast. I'm a wreck. I barely sleep. I'm up all night, either holding our son when he's sick or scrolling through medical websites, trying to understand his treatment. I cry in the shower so no one hears me, and I'm running on coffee and adrenaline. Henry, though, he's acting like it's business as usual. He still goes out with his buddies every Friday, drops cash on stuff like new tools or fancy craft beer, while I'm over here rationing groceries to stretch our budget. I asked him once, point blank, "Do you even care that our son's suffering?" He went quiet for a long time, then said, "Of course I care, Zoe, but I'm not going to let this take over my whole life." Take over his life? Our son's the one fighting for his, not him. I don't understand how he can be so cold. Sometimes I catch myself staring at him, wondering if the guy I married was ever real. And it's not just family. Our friends are picking teams too. My best friend from high school, who's been my rock, comes over with casseroles and lets me vent for hours. She's 100% on my side, thinks Henry's a selfish jerk, and keeps pushing me to talk to a lawyer. But Henry's got his crew from the garage, these loudmouth guys who think he's the victim here. One of them actually messaged me saying I'm nagging Henry too much and need to back off because he's stressed. Stressed? I'm the one juggling a sick kid, work, and a husband who's checked out. Another one of his buddies told me I should chill because I'm ruining Henry's vibe. Yeah, sorry my kid's leukemia is cramping his style. Let me give you a snapshot of last night, just to show you how bad it's gotten. I just hung up with the hospital billing department. They're hounding us for another $3,500 by the end of the month. Our son was upstairs, finally asleep after puking half the day from his meds. I'm at the kitchen table, surrounded by a mess of bills and insurance forms, trying to keep it together. Henry walks in, sees me, and goes, "You're still messing with that?" I snapped. I said, "Yeah, Henry, I'm still messing with it because our son's dying, and you're doing nothing." He rolled his eyes, freaking rolled them, and said, "You're so dramatic. He's not dying. Stop making me the bad guy." Then he grabbed his jacket and stormed out. Came back at like 3 a.m., stinking of booze. I just sat there after he left, staring at the fridge, feeling like a ghost in my own house. I've tried everything to get through to him. I've begged him, tears streaming down my face, to help me save our son. I've laid out the numbers, shown him the bills, explained how we're drowning. I've even tried guilt, asking how he'll feel if our son doesn't make it because we couldn't pay. Nothing works. He either shuts down completely or flips it back on me, saying I'm trying to control him or guilt trip him. I'm not. I just want our kid to live. I've picked up extra shifts at work, but it's a drop in the bucket. I've thought about crowdfunding, like those pages you see online, but I feel so pathetic begging strangers when my own husband's sitting on a pile of cash he won't touch. This whole thing's got me digging into our past, replaying every moment to figure out where it went wrong. I keep thinking about this one time, maybe 5 years ago, when we were still dating. We took this spontaneous road trip to the beach, just the two of us in his old junker car, singing along to awful pop songs. We stopped at this dingy little diner, and he blew his last $20 on pie because he said it'd cheer me up after a rough week. That's the Henry the First fell for, the guy who'd do anything to see me smile. Now I look at him, sprawled on the couch ignoring me, and I wonder if that was all an act. Did I miss the signs? Was he always this selfish, and I was too starry-eyed to notice? Our house feels like a war zone these days. It's small, 2 bedrooms, a cramped living room, a kitchen that's always cluttered. The walls are thin, so I hear everything. Our son whimpering in his sleep, Henry snoring like nothing's wrong. There's this one spot by the sink where I stand every morning, making coffee, staring out at the backyard where our son used to run around. It's overgrown now because neither of us has time to mow it. That's what my life feels like. Overgrown, out of control, choking on itself. I keep imagining the worst-case scenario. What if we can't pay, and our son doesn't get the treatment he needs? What if God, I can't even type it. I'd never forgive myself. And Henry, I don't know if I can forgive him either way. If he keeps this up, what's left of us? I still love him, buried under all this rage and exhaustion, but it's fading fast. My mom's voice is stuck in my head. Leave him, but I don't know how. We've got a kid, a mortgage, for years of memories. How do you just walk away from that? I saw this post on Reddit a while back about how crises reveal who people really are, and it's haunting me. Maybe this is Henry's true self, a guy who'd rather cling to some pipe dream than save his own flesh and blood. Or maybe he's scared too, and this is his screwed up way of coping, pushing it all away. I don't have the energy to figure it out anymore. I just know I'm running out of time, and our son's the one paying the price. So, that's my mess of a life right now. I'm typing this on my phone while our son's napping and Henry's off somewhere avoiding reality. I don't even know what I want from you all. Advice, a slap of truth, someone to tell me I'm not crazy? Am I out of line for expecting him to use his savings? Am I the one screwing up by pushing him so hard? I just need to hear what you think because I'm too deep in this to see clearly. Thanks for slogging through this monster of a post. I really needed to dump it all out somewhere.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our daily updates.